Hey out there, welcome to another Kevin Strong show. I am your host, Kevin Strong, and we're going to start off by talking about layoffs, specifically how it's affecting teachers K through 12 throughout the United States. This is a growing property. For those of you who don't know, the main sources of revenue for most local school systems is property taxes and local taxes. And when those things don't add up to the amount of money that they need for their budget, the state normally supplements the difference. So what happens when not only revenue is down, state can't really supplement the difference and declining enrollment? What you have is a massive plan to lay off teachers across the United States. And we're going to talk about that and what you possibly need to do in order to not become a victim. If you're new to the show, welcome. Hit that like button and please subscribe. Without further ado, we're going to slide over, talk about, or actually watch a little video, and then we're going to go into an article that does kind of like a deep dive into some of the numbers. And then finally, last but not least, I'm going to give you an update about my investment picks. Both of them were duds. I was wrong on both of them, but I got two more, and we're going to call it a comeback. I've been here for years. So without further ado, let's go over here and look at this video that's basically talking about this growing crisis with teachers being laid off in the United States.
Now's the time for cleaner indoor air with an air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer. You've known us for carpet cleaning, but we've been cleaning air ducts for
I thought I had
years.
this queued up.
We do things the right way.
We're going to let it go ahead and roll
system.
through this
So if you need an air duct cleaning, call 1-800-STEAMER today.
The article.
Some school districts around the country are facing budget shortfalls and falling enrollment. That's expected to result in major teacher and staff layoffs in some places in the upcoming academic year. Part of the problem, money provided to school districts from the federal government during the pandemic, well, that's ending, and the money must be spent by the end of September. That means some school districts will have a budget hole, and it comes as enrollment figures are dropping and inflation remains a problem. School district in Arlington, Texas plans to cut 275 positions at the end of this school year. In Hartford, Connecticut, school district is laying off 30 teachers and 79 staff members. Overall, 400 positions will be cut, or nearly 400. And in Montana, school district is eliminating nearly 50 teacher and administrative staff.
So that's just a little snippet of what is going on. Very sad situation. Obviously, it's a situation where you kind of get pigeonholed, right? Because what happens is that when you have a certain chosen occupation and that profession is starting to contract, it's hard to basically do a lateral movement maybe to another district, or if it's a nationwide problem, it may be hard to basically get the same type of job that you had in the same teaching profession. A lot of that stuff has insulations which you're dealing with unions and things of that nature. It become very complicated. But the point being is that if you're in the state of Washington or if you're in the state of Ohio or wherever you're at, and that particular area is contracting in terms of not hiring teachers, and you get laid off, where do you go? You're probably going to have to go relocate out of a district. You might even have to relocate into an entirely different state. And even then, you could be ultimately looking at a pay cut or delaying the inevitable. So we're going to slide over here and look at this article that talks about this phenomenon that's going on in a little bit more detail. And then we're going to slide over to the investment component of the show. So as you can see here, let me see if I can blow this up for you guys, because you may not be able to see it. That should be better. Okay. Schools across the country are announcing teacher and staff layoffs as district brace for the end of a pandemic aid package that delivered the largest one-time federal investment in K through 12. So some of you guys, I don't know if you remember back when this all happened, teachers were holding out, they were threatening to strike, and they got massive amounts of concessions made by their various districts throughout the United States. They were getting 15, 20, and 25% raises. That was all temporary. All of that was facilitated because the government had all of this money that they dispersed out to various school districts throughout the country because of the pandemic. So as a result of that, the school district says, okay, we're going to go ahead and accommodate this request, regardless of whether or not you think it was valid or not. They accommodated the request. Well, now that money that was used to fund a lot of those programs and pay for those higher salaries has run out. And as a result, these districts are saying, hey, property taxes are down, local taxes are down. The state can't subsidize as much as they could in the past. And equally is important from a burden standpoint is that enrollment is down in various school districts throughout the country. So all of this is just a recipe for disaster, and it's forcing a lot of school districts to lay off teachers. So I have a little bit of a tinfoil conspiracy theory. I think the online experience during the pandemic was extended well beyond what was necessary, because maybe they knew that was something that they could rely on in the future to reduce cost. That's just my little 2 cents. So we're right here. Many districts have warned of layoffs as the current school year comes to an end and the next year's school budget. We talked about that. So let's look at some of these right here, right? In Montana, 33 positions, 13 administrative positions. Look down here, Texas, 275 positions at the end of the school year that were funded by the federal pandemic aid funds. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Connecticut, 30 teachers, 79 other staff members have been notified that they could lose jobs, okay? And then the Hartford public school system is down 21% since 2010 due to a decline in school age population and policies that allow Hartford residents to enroll in schools in neighboring districts. So people are having less kids. Inflation is a factor. This was the big bill, right? Between 20 and 2021, it was $190 billion in funding for K-12 schools, roughly 6 times what they receive from the federal government in a normal year. So you get a lot and you ask for a lot. Teachers wanted it, they got it. Now it's time for concessions. I'm not throwing shade on it. I'm just saying these are the economic realities. Just like when everybody was high-fiving these UPS workers that got this $150,000 or $160,000 package, then all of a sudden within 3 months after that agreement, or less than 6 months after that agreement, UPS started to lay off. So it's not sustainable. You've got to consider things like that. So how many teachers are at risk? This is the part I wanted to talk about. It's hard to know just how many educator jobs are at risk across the country. But if staffing levels were to fall back to the same level they were before the pandemic in 2018 and 2019, districts would need to lay off 384,000 full-time staff. Okay, so let that resonate for a minute. So if those are all teachers, I think there's roughly a little bit over 4 million teachers in the United States that teach K through 12. This problem is going to get much, much worse. You're going to see a lot of these school districts start to consolidate. There was an article that came out in the Seattle Times in the Seattle, Washington area where that school district was talking about eliminating 25% of elementary schools because of the aforementioned topic. Lack of enrollment, lack of funding, fill in the blanks. What's ominous about that, if you know anything about school districts, look how much money, logistics, and coordination that goes into opening up and running a school. So once you close a school, that puppy's not going to reopen 2 or 3 years later. This is the proverbial frog in the water, and they're turning up the temperature. And a lot of these frogs are going to start to boil. So if you do have a job and you're a teacher, you need to start looking at a supplemental way to supplement your income. You know, I've said this ad nauseum. A lot of people are afraid of their own shadows. It does not matter the self-value that you put on what you do as a teacher. The economic reality is that a lot of these districts are going to either reduce pay, cut staff, And if you do have a job and they reduce your pay or keep you on, you know, moving forward, it's going to be much more difficult to negotiate a fair raise package. As a result, inflation is going to continue to eat away at your current income. Taxes are going to continue to eat away at your current income. So you get squeezed all way around. There's just so many ways that basically you can slice an onion. So last but not least, we're going to slide over here and talk about some investment things here. And then we're going to wrap this up. Stop sharing and see if we can find this here. All right. So last week I had said that McDonald's and Target were going to do well. They did not. I thought you'd hold on to them maybe till like Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Those were two duds. So what do I think moving forward next week that potentially I might look at? It looks like it's already been going up. It's going to continue to go up. Silver. I can type here. Come on, computer. There we go. Okay. So as you see here, really strong pattern moving up. That's kind of like a bull flag pattern there, and it's broken out of that. Silver's got a ways to go up. I think it'll probably go beyond $30 an ounce. Take a look at the MACD. The MACD's strong. It's not even remotely looking like it's going to roll over. For those of you who have been following for a while, I bought a lot of silver years ago, probably back in 2018 for like $17 an ounce. So I'm looking at, well over 50% return on my money. But understand when you get fixated on things like silver and commodities, they're just a preservation of wealth. And even that term, you can debate that, because even if you got a lot of silver and you need it for something, let's say you bought $10,000 worth of silver years ago at $10, and now it's going up to 30. You're like, holy crap, my money is more than double. Well, you're going to have to convert that commodity, silver or gold, into whatever the fiat currency is being used in order to buy goods and services. So it really is a preservation of wealth. One can make an argument, maybe not, because at the end of the day, and I don't think we'll ever get to this type of system, you get to a system where you're transacting using gold and silver, you're going to have to convert that to whatever the currency is. So think about that for what it's worth. So silver looks good, and obviously so does gold. Right now, they look very, very good. Gold also looks like a strong pattern, and looks like here gold is just getting a confirmation out of the MACD. So that looks strong as well, no pun intended. So what am I looking to do? Once again, this is not financial advice. I'm going to do a little bit more research over the weekend, but I'm probably going to do, I'm going to short Amazon. I think there's room for Amazon to go down a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I'm only been in this trade 1 or 2 days. It looks like it's getting ready to break down here, and I don't think it's going to hit support to maybe 182, 183. It's not going to go down much because this red line here is the 200-day moving average, and the projection of this line is obviously moving forward. So this would be a quick trade in and out. And another commodity play that I'm looking at that also is going to continue to go up is platinum and palladium. And some of you may have never heard of this stock, SPPP. Once again, this is not financial advice. Really, really, really strong pattern here. As you can see here, the MACD is strong. It's not even remotely looking like it's going to roll over. And this looks like this was a support level here. It broke out past the 200-day moving average, which is this red line. And it looks like there's not going to be any resistance, at least probably until close to around $12 to $13. So this obviously could be a nice play for a couple of days. So once again, silver and gold looks good. I might take a negative position on Amazon and SPPP, which is palladium and platinum. I might be looking to get in at, as I think it's going to continue to go up. So that's it on the investment side. So in summary, getting back to the main focus of this video is talking about this teacher situation. This is what I'm talking about. People get too comfortable. If you are a teacher in a district that's even remotely talking about concessions when it comes to reducing staff, pushing back on raises, asking you to do more with less, which is they've been doing that for years when it comes to teachers, but you need to come up with some kind of supplemental way to offset that, or you may actually have to consider looking at a different profession. As I said, what makes it difficult about these type of jobs is that they're really secure, you're insulated, but when things start to get shaky, everybody in that industry is basically dealing with the same problem. So you can't just switch from one district to another, pick up where you're left off and expect not to take a step back financially or from a seniority standpoint. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kevin Strong Show. Once again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so at this time. Hit the like button. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.